Let God arise, let his enemies be scattered. I love that hymn, and I know that all of you do as well, and I know that we're all looking forward to hearing it when we're able to be together, and Lord willing, we'll be able to hear it all together on Pascha night here at the church. I'm coming to you today from my office here at the church and wanted to offer today's reflection for you. The big thing that I want to talk about today is approaching the quarantine, approaching our isolation without panic. And that's why I wanted to play those very beautiful first lines of that hymn, let God arise and let his enemies be scattered. Because the reality is, our God is the God who is victorious. And when we know that God is victorious over all things, we can approach anything that we're dealing with from a state of calm, from a state of peace, and not from a state of panic. We might feel tempted to panic as we continue to hear different updates and we continue to hear the news. And in fact, we might be having the news on a continuous loop or having updates come to our phone constantly. I will encourage you, in order to not go into a place of panic as we're approaching the situation, to not have the news on constantly, to not be listening to all of the updates. I believe Shelby County does their update at about 2 p.m. where they kind of give here's the summary of what's happening today and what we're looking ahead to. And I might encourage you to use that as a time for catching up on what the latest news is, but not to have it on a continuous running loop so that you can continue to focus on other things. And in fact, the big things that we should be focusing on are based on the two great commandments. Of course, the first of the great commandments is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And that's where understanding that God is the conqueror comes in. When we know that he is the one who is the conqueror of all things and that there is nothing that will be able to defeat us, we're able to put our hope and our trust in him and to keep from panic. And so the big thing for us is to remember to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And of course, the second great commandment is just like it, right? We're told it is to love your neighbor as yourself. And so the other thing is we are frustrated with our inability to go different places, especially coming here to the church. Please don't think of it in terms of our being held away from church or that we are unable to go because of an outside force is keeping us from going. The reality is the reason why we're not going out into the world, the reason why we are not even entering into the church at this time is out of love for our neighbor, because our neighbor is concerned about the spread of this virus, and we should be concerned about that as well. We want to make sure that we are not in a place where we are spreading a virus around or ourselves getting an infection. It doesn't mean that we should stay away from helping others when it is needed and reaching out in ways that are appropriate and profitable, but it does mean that we should love our neighbor and continue to help our community and the community around the world to keep the spread of this virus from going any further. So may God help us to approach this not with a spirit of panic, but with a spirit first and foremost of love of God and a recognition that he is the conqueror. He is the one that we turn to, and a recognition of our need to love our neighbor. And sometimes we have to love our neighbor in ways that honestly don't make sense. And for right now, the way that we're loving our neighbor is to stay a few feet away from him. So may God help us as we continue in this journey to not panic, to love God, and to love our neighbor. I love you, I miss you all, and looking forward to seeing you soon.